Well, welcome, everyone. This is Jeanne White calling from Social Connections from Passionate World Radio Network. And today I have another guest on, and it's Jeff Ginther, I believe. And and Jeff is going to be talking about he is a caregiver for his wife, Becky. Well, welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. How's the weather up in Massachusetts at the moment?
Well, it just goes through raining. We're going through a rainy spell today, I guess. The weather has just been very humid for us in Massachusetts, and we don't like the humidity. It's not good. But it's getting better. But at least our weather is coming in. It's fall coming in, and the fall is beautiful here. And how is the weather for you?
Well, we've had some extraordinarily hot weather in Southwest Virginia, and we just got through a week of intermittent heavy rain.
Oh, yeah. Seems to be going.
So we'll see. We still have probably another 3 weeks or maybe over a month of summer yet.
Well, yeah, we do too. We got until the end of August, but the trees are starting to a little bit change. So know that the fall is coming in, and in fall, it's my favorite time. I love the fall. It's crisp. The trees are all different colors, and people are going apple picking and hay rides and stuff, and then then it brings us into the holidays, and then the treacherous weather, the winter, January and February, not the pleasantest places to be sometimes in New England. But I'm sure. How is it for you in Virginia for your winter?
It's we don't get a whole lot of snow. I'm not a native of Southwest Virginia. I'm actually a native of upstate New York.
Uh-huh.
And I miss the snow, actually. We only get smattering here and there.
It is. It's the weather. Yeah, it depends on where you come from. Different parts of the United States. All these, the New England area, New York, and everything. It's fall becomes. It starts to get crisp. In the air.
Oh, yes.
And of course, I love the change of seasons. I know I don't like the winter so much, but you know what? We deal with it, and then we move on. We know spring is on its way. That's how we deal with it.
Yeah.
So I want to welcome you to the show. I know that. Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you that Betsy told me to say hello.
Hey, Betsy.
Betsy Witzer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Okay. And so I just had a session with her this morning. And so today we want to talk about, what it is for you, Jeff, as a caregiver. How did it start? When were you aware of what was going on for Becky?
Okay. My first absolute realization was like a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Becky and I ran our medical office from 1981 to 2014, I'd say. She's an RN, and we met actually during my training. And very, very sharp lady. I always thought she'd been an excellent physician, specialty physician even. She was so brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And she trained all the people in our office. And when medical insurance became more of an issue, she dug into that and became very good at it. And continued to manage the folks in the office and deal with the salesmen and coached our staff into the ordering and day-to-day operations and ran the office.
Mm.
And medical insurance became more and more of an issue as people out there may understand, and more difficult and complicated to work through. So questions would come to me pretty regularly about what I meant in a diagnosis or procedure or whatever. And then one day, in January 2014, she came to me with a question that was absolutely basic to medical insurance. I can't remember what the question was now, but it was absolutely basic, like something you learn in your first week in studying medical insurance coding and such. And it suddenly dawned on me that the whole series of questions and queries that she came to me with in the previous several months leading up to this, it was startling. So we went home that night and we sat down and talked. I said, you've questioned yourself a fair amount over the past several months about your memory. And today, to me, it became obvious something went terribly wrong. And she agreed.
Mm-hmm.
That was the January of 2014.
Right.
And she agreed that it had become much more difficult for her to sort through the issues, to understand the coding book, to work through issues with the folks on the other end of the telephone line, with the patients. It became more and more overwhelming to her. And that was the beginning of the end. She wrapped up what she needed to do on a day-to-day basis. In a few months, we closed our office. She wasn't able to train anybody else.
Right.
And the practice of medicine had gotten fairly difficult from the business point of view. From the business point of view, I loved medicine, but and I thought I would perhaps try to join another group or go to the Veterans Administration Hospital or something.
Mm-hmm.
But over the ensuing months, it became obvious that I needed to be with her more and more. She stopped cooking, and she never liked to cook to begin with, but she stopped cooking. We had 3 dogs at the time. She'd wind up feeding them 4 or 5 times a day because she would forget that she fed them.
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that, and it became pretty obvious. And I took over the laundry, took over the house cleaning. It became pretty startling. And her family were in denial for a while. Thought she was depressed. As a physician, I made the preliminary diagnosis, but I didn't trust myself and said, okay, we went through all the basic testing and had her go see her own another family medical doctor, and a neurologist, and ultimately a psychologist to confirm the diagnosis, which was pretty devastating for Becky. Devastating for me too, but devastating for her. She pretty much took to sitting on the couch watching TV all day. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty distressing to see somebody who is so vigorous and active in our community. It's
to realize
hard
that
for me
she
to
was
too.
now not capable. To realize that she wasn't capable of doing the things that she loved the most.
Right. Exactly. And over the ensuing years, it's been very interesting. Part of me still talks like the clinician, the scientist. I have a bachelor's in chemistry, so I grew up kind of in a medical science environment for the past 34 years. Our daughters were in denial for a while. We have 2 daughters. They were in denial for a while. One is pretty helpful. She lives about 3 hours away. The other lives up in New York City. That's about 11 or 12 hours for us. And she didn't get by very often. Her family, she has a brother and sister who make very sometimes helpful, sometimes not so helpful suggestions and demands about her care.
Mm-hmm.
Some of their demands seem so frivolous to us here. We just shake our heads. And one of the hardest things we had to deal with, we were fairly social in our community, with our church, with a group of friends, and fairly quickly those friends pretty much disappeared. We give lip service. Gee, I know it's so hard, Jeff and Jackie, for you to go through this. The second part of the sentence they would never say. The second part of the sentence being, we can't be there for you because we don't know what to say or do. That never
is that
was
what
said.
they say? Is that what they say, Jeff? They don't know what to do?
No, that's what they won't say. But that's how they act.
Oh, that's what they won't say. Oh, that's how they act. Okay.
And that has been most difficult. We're developing a new group of friends who do understand, who are empathetic, who are helpful, who have suffered through similar issues in their own families and understand the solitude. And I say solitude for both for Becky and for I.
Right.
She didn't particularly like to sit in front of the TV and do nothing. She would like to be with some of her friends. And on a rare occasion, there is one friend of hers that comes to see her and take her out to lunch probably once every month or 6 weeks. And this particular friend also had a mother who had Alzheimer's, so she in particular understands. But everybody else, just too uncomfortable for them. And if there's one thing about illness I don't understand, it's that.
Well, this is something I've heard from different individuals that have spoken, and it's the isolation and the withdrawal of people.
Yes.
That they've known for so long, and not willing or don't know what to do, what to say, or how to handle the whole situation. And they do draw away. Some, I've heard some people say, individuals would say that they feel that these individuals move away because they're afraid they're going to catch something.
It's so
like they're going to catch
so
it.
absurd. It's so absurd.
Yeah. And
the medical science is pretty clear on that.
Yes, you can't catch it, and it's an unknown entity to some people, Jeff. I mean, I've been through it with my father and two very close friends, and it's a extremely hardship, not only for the individual that has Alzheimer's, but more so for the caretaker, because they're in an isolated situation and they don't seem to be around people that truly understand what's going on and how they can help.
It's I just scratch my head every day.
You do, but you do type 2 now. You do try. Well, I knew that I did. You do try to be with individuals that understand, and they're the ones that are going to be there for you.
Absolutely, we're finding that definitely.
Yes, and it's to cultivate new friendships. It's really, for me, I found it very easy because they have been in a similar situation, so they have compassion and understanding.
Right.
And it's not anything they have to say or do. You just know that they're there, and if you could call them, they would be there to help out.
Yep, that's right.
So those are the people that you tend to gravitate to, and even on the, I'm not sure how involved you are on the, like on Facebook and the different groups and stuff like that. They seek out and they create friendships, which is so vital, especially to the caregiver, because eventually the Alzheimer patient doesn't really remember everything, but it's the caretaker,
Yes. And that's one thing that for your audience, there are 7 stages of Alzheimer's that's been identified. Those stages or to help people communicate. I understand that. It's not anything that, for each stage is a different treatment. But it does help people understand that it's a process. But, Becky's in stage 5 roughly right now of the 7 stages. And the severity varies from day to day. Mm-hmm. Some days she's more alert and interactive and communicative than others. Other days she'll sleep. She'll get up for breakfast and go back to bed, and get up around supper time and start getting dressed. I said, "Hey, it's supper time. How come you're getting dressed?" "Well, because it's time to get dressed." I said, mm-hmm. "Well, we're going to be eating supper soon, and then we're going to just watch a little TV. Weren't we going out somewhere today?" I said, "It's nighttime already." "Oh."
Yeah, don't they, Jeff? Is it? I'm sure they just don't have a conception of time.
No. No.
They don't have any conception. But is there anything that she likes to do? Do you have anything?
That's been a problem. I mean, there's a ton of suggestions out there: coloring books, games, card games, music.
Mm-hmm.
Becky's interests have been mostly around medicine and her career, and our daughter's activities growing up. She does like music, but her musical taste is pretty limited. And after 3-4 songs, she kind of wanders away. We're finding that her interest, she used to like to, she started taking piano lessons years ago, and her career and our business kind of got in the way of that. But we have a piano in the house from our daughter taking music lessons. And just recently, Becky would, every time she would test the piano, look at a few chords. It sounded pretty nice. So we're in the process of getting our church's music minister over here to show her a few extra things so she can be more confident with the piano and actually do a few things.
Mm-hmm.
But we've tried the adult coloring book. That lasted all of a day.
Mm-hmm.
Puzzles, just confused the heck out of her. We tried some board games outside one that's rated for 5-year-olds. She doesn't have a clue. She used to love to do Sudoku, the numbers.
Oh, yes, I like that one, yes.
Numbers game. She used to be great at that. She doesn't have a clue anymore. She never particularly liked crossword puzzles, so that would never fly anyway. She does.
Go
ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What was your question?
I was just going to ask, does she like to, take it to the park or something and walk with her? I mean, things like that. Does she like to do something like that? Do you take her out in the yard?
Yes and no. She likes driving around.
Uh-huh.
The second problem she has is some significant arthritis in her feet. She's had both knees replaced. Her spine's a mess from arthritis. Her hands are weak from arthritis. She's had neck surgery. And so walking for her is a bit of an issue. I mean, she does walk independently, with her arm and my arm. But to go to a park, she finds it very taxing.
Yeah.
Just going from the parking lot to the first part of the park is difficult for her. We do it sometimes just to get her outside and get some fresh air. But it's taxing for her. She's better to walk down a city block. And even yesterday we were walking through our downtown, and she's constantly looking, where's the car? I may need to get back to the car. She can't see the car, she panics.
Yeah, because
so it's difficult for her.
Yeah, I think I did that with my friend a few times. I would take her, and she'd always want to know where the car was,
Yeah.
or she'd speak about it anyways. But it became like for my friend, she loved music, especially the 1960s or 70s music. She really liked that music, and she really did love to color. I mean, she could spend hours on it.
That's good.
But then that goes away, and then eventually they just do nothing. There is no way to try to communicate on any level.
We're not there yet. Well, we'll still read the newspaper together, and
oh, that's good.
But,
so there's a little thing that she likes to do,
yeah.
And I always feel bad for the caregiver because you're in a situation. It's a no-win situation, and you try to do whatever it is necessary to keep them comfortable and to keep them safe, But also you need to take care.
Safe.
But you need to keep yourself safe and healthy also, And I think that was one of the things I found, that caregivers will work their bones to the ground, to take care of their loved one. But unfortunately, let their health go wayside. It's just a complicated situation,
Yeah.
But how are you doing, you personally?
Well, that's a good segue into that. I've always loved being outside, doing stuff in the yard. Sounds strange, but one of my favorite exercises is split and cut wood. We have a fireplace.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And or trim bushes in the yard, or rearrange the yard, landscaping, and that type of thing. I love walking, and I love a leisurely walk to a park. We have in our neighborhood a couple of nice places to walk. Unfortunately, it's very taxing for Becky. We get at a block and a half, we got to turn around.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to take a good power walk for an hour, just really pushing myself.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that Becky is sitting home alone, wondering where I am, searching for a drink perhaps, getting the TV remotes mixed up, maybe calling her brother or sister, gee, I'm all alone. I don't know where my husband, I don't know where Jeff is,
Mm-hmm.
So besides getting the worried phone call from the family, where have you been? I also then find myself not doing these exercise things, and that's certainly not a healthy option for me.
No, it isn't. Is her family close by?
No.
No? Okay.
No, they are not. And they're very busy in their lives.
Yes. Oh, yes. They're always busy.
Oh.
There's always something going on. It's what I'm trying to figure out is, like, I used to help. Well, my girlfriend, she's been gone a couple of years now, but her husband was the caretaker for her, and we used to go over, and I would sit with Phyllis while he went shopping, or if he went for a walk for half an hour. Is there any chance anyone could help you doing something like that?
Right. Well, and there are. I have half a dozen folks in our neighborhood that would say, "Gee, if you need us, for something, call us."
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like to take advantage of it. I have called a couple folks to see that something would happen. I'd be away for a little while, and they would come check on her. But you feel kind of funny sometimes asking people, "Gee, I need to get away from it. Would you come sit and stay with Becky?" Interestingly, I had a couple of people contact me on Facebook who would love to help. We charge $15 an hour. Is that too much?
Oh, wow, no.
That's special.
That's certainly special. No, but we did, and we would sit with her, and she would ask, Phyllis would say, "Where's Peter?" And I'd say, "Oh, he went to the store to buy you some treats," something like that. And then we would change the subject or something, because you do, I know you know that, do you need some respite care yourself? and it's hard to find that that middle road for you. But certainly, if you have friends that were willing to come and sit, I would ask. I did. Peter would ask me.
I need to be more open with. I need to be more forceful with myself to be asking. I don't do it very
often. And if they do, really, even if it's just, even if it's a half an hour or even 20 minutes, it's 20 minutes of some good time, good quality time for you. And we used to do this for Peter because Phyllis, at the end, her sundowning was not good, and he got ill. And because there are some patients that do not sleep at night. They go to bed for half an hour and they're up because they have no conception.
Right.
So she would wake him up, like he'd be in bed or 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, and he got very ill. I'm serious when I tell you this, that he started a nosebleed and it wouldn't stop, so they rushed him to the hospital. So he was in the hospital for a week, all right?
Wow.
And so we all took care of it while he was in the hospital. So he knew that she was being taken care of. And I just said, see, you're in the hospital. You didn't want to ask us. You were limited in what you wanted us to do. And you got ill. And now you find out that you've been in the hospital, and we've all taken care of her. So take heed and use, when we ask, say yes, But he was in the hospital for over a week, very ill,
Wow.
So no one wants to get to that plateau. I guess we're all afraid, and I speak for myself too, and my father had it. We're afraid to ask someone because they're going to think that we can't handle it,
Right. Yes.
But
I know that's part of my demeanor.
It's not easy.
But it'll come It'll come one day. I know that.
Oh, you will. You're going to say.
As we get older, we worry. Arthritis here, or blood pressure there. When is there going to be a day I can't do for her? A particular day. What's going to happen?
Yeah. And then my other friend, I became her advocate, and she, we had to, place her in a nursing home because there was no way that she could stay in that house at all and be safe. There was no way.
Right.
And so we placed her in there, and I went almost every day, but I made sure, she knew that I was coming and that I would be there. And it was a different type of an environment from where my other friend was. But it's exhausting. But other people, I'd say to someone, I say, I can't go in today. I'm really beat, and they would go in. So you just have to ask. I know it's not part of anyone's makeup to keep asking people, but, if you don't, what are you going to, I always say to them, what's going to happen to the Alzheimer patient if something happens to the caregiver, really?
Right.
Well,
we have a bit of a peculiar situation, and that some things I'm not going to go into. Her, to make a long story short, her sister is her legal power of attorney.
Oh, okay.
And it's not always been real cordial between us because of some of those issues. Although it's gotten better here in the past few months, it's gotten much better. I think her sister finally sees that my job here is so much more than a housekeeper and a maid. And I think she finally understands that my giving up my career was perhaps one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. But at the same time, her sister still works full time. Her brother has his own estate to deal with in the middle of Virginia. And our daughters have a busy, active life that they just can't drop everything. And so the concern is, if I can't do it, they will help liquidate her estate and put her in a facility because they can't or won't. and that scares the crap out of me. Sorry.
Oh no, it does. It would scare me too, really. And I have to say, that from my being in situations where people have been ill and everything, that family's not always there. They're really not, and it's your friends that you meet that are going to be there.
Right.
But family, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't care if anyone gets mad at me, but they're just looking for an alternative to place someone somewhere so they don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah.
And they want someone else to take care of them,
Yeah.
And that's how it works, and I haven't heard too many families that have been there to help their loved ones. It's they're selfish.
Yeah, one of the most wonderful TV programs I ever watched for the Waltons, and one of the reasons I felt so strongly about that show was a family who always pulled together and helped each other.
Mhm.
And I hope your readers remember that show.
Oh, I mean, my mother and dad used to, it was on, but that's not like that now. Basically,
no, not hardly.
People are very selfish and not willing to even give up an hour a day because their life is so important, and it's really not. But you know what? I always say this: payback. You just watch it; it comes back to bite. Big time. But I'm not. I'm not going to.
No.
I'm here.
That doesn't help us. That doesn't help us.
Right. You're here to discuss, what it is happening in you, and as long as you realize it, maybe when she's laying down, you can read a book or listen to some music or something that would deter you for some relaxation,
Yeah. But I do get some of that. Well, but just giving this interview right here now is recharging me some.
Yeah. And also to be able to speak and not being, you should do this, you should do that. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to just say, even if Betsy says the same thing to me. She goes, "Gee, you have no idea what this means," to be able to say some stuff. And most of them have all said the same thing, that they're grateful for just being able to tell their story.
Well, one thing I'm trying very hard to do, as a retired physician, I still have that part of me that will never let that go. And one thing I'm trying to figure out, along with our local Alzheimer's Association, is how can we get service organizations, church parishes, to become more proactive and helpful to their communities. To offer, within a church or within a service organization, to help members in a more active fashion. Again, our local Alzheimer's Association representative and I have been working towards that direction. She's spread fairly thin. I know that. She has a huge territory. And lots of demands on her, but and I again, as a retired physician, I'm going to start going to different physicians' offices where I've had some relationship in the past, and start talking to the physicians about trying to be more proactive in their educating families. Because as a physician, I knew an awful lot about dementia and how to diagnose it and how to treat it and all this stuff, but I didn't have a clue about caregiving, and I am very humbled. And physicians have big egos, as you might guess. Mm-hmm. And even my trying to contact a few physicians that I've known over the years to say, "Gee, I'd like to talk to you about this." They're so busy trying to keep their offices afloat that even this doesn't seem to be a terribly important aspect of their lives. So I have a challenge ahead of me, but this is one thing I'm trying to do, to keep my own academic and educational drive intact. So hopefully that'll be an outlet for me, and in turn maybe help somebody.
Oh, definitely. This is what happens, is that when people start speaking out and trying to find solutions, it become a grassroots situation.
Right.
And you find different ways to help out other people by being part of the community in what you're doing right now, Jeff.
Right. So I certainly found the Facebook groups very helpful. That's where we found each other, Jeannie,
Yep.
in a roundabout way.
Mm-hmm.
Through Betsy.
Yes, through Betsy, you did all that. Yes.
And there's I don't know, I have not counted them. I know I belong to half a dozen different caregiver groups, and made a number of very good friends. Just yesterday, I ran into something, and I'm trying to figure this one out. Facebook apparently has gotten interested in some of this, and has suggested to one of the club's administrators that they start charging for a membership to the group.
Mhm.
I thought to myself, wasn't that special? Charging to become a caregiver member group. I thought to myself, where's this world coming to? We're trying to help each other, and Facebook wants to make a profit off of it.
I don't understand it either. I really don't, because that's one more thing they have to worry about, a membership,
I mean, most of us are already strained financially. It just really inflames me.
This is Chris Erickson. I just joined.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Chris.
Yep.
Oh, this is Jeanne White. I'm doing an interview right now with Jeff.
Yeah. Okay, you gave me this number. You told me to call at 11 today.
No, it was Thursday at noon.
Oh, it said tomorrow, but want me to call back tomorrow?
Yeah, can you please?
Sure.
Or if you want to stay on and talk with us, you're more than welcome to. We're just coming and we're signing off, and maybe you can call back in about 15 minutes. Is that all right?
Sure. Yep, not a problem.
Okay. All right, thanks, Chris. Okay. Sorry about that, Jeff.
It's okay.
It was someone else. He's scheduled for tomorrow at noon, and so I don't know what's happened. He's another gentleman that's going to be talking about caregiving, and so I apologize on that. I hope you don't mind.
No apologies
well,
needed.
It gives a little interesting interaction.
Yeah. Well.
You're more than welcome to come on if you have any suggestions. What I want to do is set up, I was telling Betsy, I'd like to put a place up in YouTube. I know there's a lot of places you can go, but sometimes you got caregivers running all over the place trying to figure out something. So I was wondering if I could have one place on YouTube where people could come in and contribute, talk about different tips or things that they found out, or
that'd be cool.
A resource center. And I know they're all over the place, but if we can compile it a little bit, Jeff, and put it into one area where they could come and actually find stuff,
I think that'd be a super idea. Yeah.
And I know we have Facebook, and I know I have my website, but if we had a central place, so if you can ever think of anything that you would like, to contribute, I am going to put it up on YouTube, and I'll send it to everyone. But recommendations, ideas,
Sure.
And I think that's what people need. I know that I needed that at that time. You have.
It's
where do
funny
I go?
you say, because I was actually thinking about something like that, but I'm not technologically all that advanced.
Yeah,
and,
but if
and
you
I actually
want
get
to
a couple.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I guess I get excited about something. I just kind of roll on.
So I've done about 3 different videos for one of the Facebook groups, and posted them on my own site. thought to myself, it'd be really cool to put this on YouTube, but how would I let people know it's really out there? They'd have to be searching for it. So somebody with a little bit of marketing knowledge and technological knowledge, that would be cool.
Yeah. Well, why don't we think about it and see what we can put our head together on, and see if we can have a section on YouTube where people can come and not have to go. Well, some of them jump through hurdles, and so and then we put it out there, put it on Facebook and everywhere where people could come, and they'd get accustomed to coming there to find out. Mary Jo did this, maybe I could try this. But a resource center, who to call, who not to call, you know what I mean? Right, I think that would be fantastic. I really do.
I would like that too.
Okay.
Something that frustrates
me. All right, I'm going to give. Let's put our heads together and we'll do something. All right.
Okay. Very good. Wonderful.
All right. Thank you. Well, I can't believe
Jeanne.
it.
It's been good for us.
It is. I have an opportunity. I have a platform for people to come. That's all that matters. Whether I hit 100 people or one person, the one person is the most important person to me. That's the person I needed to get to.
Well, Jeanne, I definitely I know you gave me the name of your radio station.
What I'll do? I'm going to send you a copy of this.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Okay, and I'll send you our website, and I'm going to probably do a little blog too on it, and I put it out there. All right.
Good.
Well, is there any words of wisdom?
There's nothing I've said today that I wouldn't mind that be in public.
No, I mean, you know what? You just have to say, I mean, and not in a derogatory way, but you just, I always say you just tell your story, and that's the most important thing. You give people hope. And that they're not. What I want people to know is they're not alone. That we're
right,
here.
Exactly.
May not be. I'm not there physically, but I'm here. So, is there any words of wisdom before I close? Anything that you would like to tell the audience?
Yes. There's always hope. It's always hope. And no matter where your spirituality is, there's always hope. And that's much as I'm going to say about that right now because I don't know your audience.
Okay. All right, but I'll be talking to you, Chris, all right? Not Chris, Jeff. I'm getting crazy with this number. Jeff, I'm sorry. But I want to thank you for coming on and speaking to the audience, and I wish you a lot of help and happiness there with your wife, Becky.
Thank you.
And everything will it be fine? You just, on a daily basis, just be grateful that we're alive and we're walking, we're breathing.
What I'd like to do is sometime down the road is give another interview.
Of course.
And I'll have some things more prepared as far as specific things. Today was,
intro.
More of a experiment for both for me anyway.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're more than happy. Just I may not get you all the time, but in case, just drop me a line and say, are we ready? Can we do it? Anything, all right?
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
All right, Jeff. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for being on my show. I truly appreciate it.
You're certainly welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening to this show. It's Jeanne White on Social Connections, Passionate World Radio. And this is another series we had with Jeff, and he spoke about being a caregiver and his wife, Becky. Wish everyone a great week, and I'll see you on the radio again. Bye now.